I kind of, like I said, I'm a student of the game, so I kind of study the greats that was before me. I seen what happened with Andre Ward. I seen what happened with Terrence Crawford. I seen what happened with Floyd Mayweather. When I watched these guys' career, every time they fought, it was always an excuse to why they wasn't that great. Now with me, I think that after I go smoke Williams and Peter, because we're going to put belt to ass. After I put belt to ass, they going to make up a new excuse. Oh, well, it ain't Tank. And then after I whoop Tank, it's going to be, oh, well, he did that because it was this. It's always going to be an excuse to why we so great. But I think all of this comes with the territory. I'm happy that all of this is happening. And when it's all said and done, that's when they going to realize how great I was.
Yeah.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, shouts out to the Danza Project. They did a sit-down interview with Shakur Stevenson. And great interview, got a lot of insight. Great interview, in my opinion. I enjoyed the interview. And Shakur Stevenson, he said something that's very telling. And it's very true. He said that the fans are never happy and they're never satisfied with the victories that fighters have. There's always going to be someone else or something else thrown at them, right? And he's 100% correct. And he says that after he put belt to behind with Williams Zepeda, he gonna whoop Tank, and it's gonna be the same thing. It's who's on to the next. Now, this is what I'm going to explain to fighters from the other side, from being a media member and a fan of the sport of boxing. This is what I'm going to explain, and this is what fighters need to understand. They need to also take into consideration the fans' mindset and perspective. They don't. They are too hung up on saying, you ain't never boxed, you can't do it. That's not what it's about. Shouts out to my brother Claymore Rain, because he said something yesterday that made a lot of sense, right? There's a movie, old movie, maybe aging myself out, and it's called How High, with Method Man and Redman. Before they knew each other, they became close friends in this movie. But before they knew each other, how they met is because they were sitting in a car next to each other, and it's called How High. So Method Man had that ooh-wee, and Redman had the raps. He turned the AC on in his car, and it blew his ooh-wee away. So now he just had the raps. Method Man left home and didn't have no raps, but he had the ooh-wee. So they looked at each other, and Method Man said, you got raps? And Redman said, you got the ooh-wee? And they said, yeah. So they came together, and they never looked back. What fighters don't understand is without the fans, you are not the fighter. And without the fighter, there's no sport of boxing. But it goes hand in hand. So instead of saying you can do something that the fans can't, see, this is what other major sports understand. NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, NBA, right? They cater to the fans. Why? Because they understand that the fans got the ooh-wee. They got the money. The NBA suffered when they had no fans in attendance. They couldn't stand it. So much so that they gave the athletes, the players, the option to play if they wanted to or not when we went through the global pandemic. Why? Because, for one, there's no budget to pay now. How are the owners paying if the fans don't pay the money? They don't. They need jersey sales. Who's buying the jerseys? The fans. They need ticket sales. Who's buying the tickets? The fans. They need concessions, popcorn, hot dogs, chicken fingers, french fries. Who's buying that? The fans. You subtract the fans, you have nothing. The owners don't have anything. Yes, they rich. They filthy rich, the owners. But they ain't going in their pocket. Jerry Jones, oil man in Texas. Jerry Jones ain't going in his pocket and paying no players. The fans are going to pay the players. Jerry Jones assisted. He built a beautiful stadium for the fans to be comfortable in, to come and watch. The fans pay him back. So what fighters don't understand is that if you don't give the fighters, you don't give the fans what they want, this is the reaction you are going to get. With that said, this is why media members, this is why fans, real boxing fans, push to see the best fighting the best. Yes, Floyd Mayweather, at once upon a time, there was a sense of he's ducking this, he's ducking that, he ain't doing this, because there's not transparency in the sport of boxing. There's too many lies and deceives. So unless you're in the inside, there's too many secrets. Unless you're in the inside, like myself, to know the ins and outs and what's going on behind the scenes, as a fan, you think, oh, Floyd Mayweather ducked Paul Williams. Oh, Floyd Mayweather ducked Margarito. Floyd Mayweather was ducking Manny Pacquiao. Because you don't know the ins and outs. So you get to, because there's too much hush-hush. Who's going to pay this fight? Who's going to pay that fight? This is why Turki Alalshikh is good for the sport, His Excellency, for the sport of boxing. This is why he's great for the sport of boxing. Why? Because he brings transparency as much as he possibly can. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay you. Are you guys going to fight? Period. There's too many secrets. Well, I'm not going to tell you. Why aren't you telling people? See, this is the difference between the NBA, the NFL, right? We know. More than likely, this player is going to go here. Right now, they're talking about Giannis. If he don't win this series, he's leaving. Transparency. So the Milwaukee Bucks fans can't be surprised. They knowing right now that Giannis could be on his way out. Right now. They don't win this series. And go to a contender and they starting over. And guess what? When he go there, Giannis is going to tell you, I'm signing here for XYZ amounts of money for XYZ amount of years. And this is what we're going, and I'm going to try to win you championships. There's no secrets. Boxing want to tell you, why isn't this guy fighting this guy? Well, hey, I don't know. You got to ask his manager. I did this, and what did you do? Did you say, it's always something. So it's left up to the imagination. If you leave it up to the imagination of the fans, then guess what? It's an emotional sport. So they're emotionally tied and driven to a specific fighter. Race, location, where you're from, what race you are. They're going to attach themselves to that. So guess what? Now it becomes a patriotic thing. He represents where I'm from. So I'm rocking with him. And now I don't like you. And now you ducking him. That's what happens. So now this situation with Tank Davis and Shakur saying that after Zepeda he'll fight Tank Davis, he'll beat Tank Davis, so on and so forth, right? How you going to beat a man that don't want to fight? If he ain't eager to fight, he ain't willing to fight, then how you gonna beat him? You can't. You can't. I believe Shakur can beat Gervonta Tank Davis, but guess what? That's another thing. There's no order. There's no structure in boxing. So, unlike other sports where you can guarantee Giannis is going to play LeBron at least once a year, unless it's barring an injury, or Steph Curry is going to go against Dame Lillard, and SGA is going to go against, Ja Morant, barring injury, every year, at least once a year. In boxing, you don't have that. You can't force two to tangle. It takes two to tangle. So it sounds good, but guess what? You got to fight the level of competition that's available to you. Hence the reason why the fans is pushing for you to fight Keyshawn Davis, because you say you a dog. Keyshawn, we know he's a dog. You in the same weight class in both champions. You talking about your brothers. You're not brothers. Fans don't care about that, bro. At the same time, you telling people that Lamont Roach is a close friend of yours. That's the same thing as Keyshawn Davis, but you're saying that you'll fight Lamont Roach. You say you're real good friends with Lamont Roach, but you'll fight Lamont Roach. So why wouldn't you fight Keyshawn Davis? You can't have it both ways and think the fans are not going to criticize you. They don't care about your friendship with Keyshawn Davis, bro. You in the same division. You're not blood brothers. You didn't come from the same womb or the same father, the same sack. You're not blood brothers. You came through the system together, not up together. There's a difference. And if you know Lamont Roach and you're close to Lamont Roach and you say you're willing to fight Lamont Roach as a friend, why wouldn't you fight Keyshawn Davis? Make it make sense. Then you say that you'll fight Lamont Roach. At the same token saying you can't put him in the top 3 because he only had one fight at 135. Yet Keyshawn Davis is in your division. You got to make this make sense. And then you can't get mad at the fans for going at you. You can't pick and choose. You got to be an open book. Hey, I'll fight anybody. Period. That's how it goes. And that's why fans is always going to be like, well, you ain't do this, you ain't do that. That's why. Fighters need to pay attention to that. And that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.